At 16 years old, this young guy felt a divine call to the ministry. There was nothing that he wanted more than to be in pastoral leadership at a church. He gave everything to the church and did everything the leadership of the church asked of him for years. And in his early 20s, he eventually got the opportunity to move across the nation and help a small church plant as an assistant pastor. It was exciting for the first few months, and then it started to become work, a lot of work. He was working a full-time secular job and a full-time ministry role. There wasn't enough people involved in the small church to spread the load. There was Bible studies to teach, preaching, service organization, ministry work, people needing help with their issues, helping with youth ministry, teaching the new members class, leading staff meetings. Before long, this young assistant pastor found every minute of his time jammed with things to do, with little time for the things that he enjoyed doing. And a little bit of resentment began to creep in. And in his mind, so much was demanded of him, but he didn't feel as appreciated as he thought he deserved. This young man was me. And the situation I found myself in at this church plant in Virginia was no one's fault but my own. I was struggling with boundaries in my life. But at the time, I didn't even know what a boundary was. And so I encourage you, stay tuned until the end. And in this session, as we continue the series on Grow Your Character, I want to give you a picture of what healthy boundaries should really look like in a leader's life. Hey there, I'm Ryan Franklin, and I would love for you to join me every week as we explore leadership topics that'll help you get the clarity needed to move your organization forward. Just hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notified as soon as I post a new session. And before we get started, I do want to mention that I have a great new product called the Christian Leader Blueprint. It's a solid model for leadership development, and if you have been looking for something that can help you or your team members develop in leadership, look no further than the Christian Leader Blueprint. And I want to give it away to you as my gift to you. Just go to christianleadermadesimple.com and you can download it for free today. And without any further delay, let's get to our session. Because of the lack of boundaries, the relational side of my life suffered. My personality revolves around productivity, and so I thought if I do more and I achieve more, that I'll gain the approval of those in authority around me. And so I sacrificed my relational needs to work harder. And my poor wife got the brunt of the lack of boundaries, as I undoubtedly missed cues of some of her relational needs, but others in my life suffered as well. And even bigger, I wasn't seeking out some of the key relational nutrients that I desperately needed in my life for growth as well. Now, I'll say this, there's a ton more to boundaries than what I'll cover in this short session. This is just a little introduction. And if you find yourself struggling in this area, I encourage you, go buy the book called Boundaries by Cloud and Townsend. They actually have multiple books and trainings on boundaries that are really, really good. Dr. John Townsend defines a boundary as the place that one person's property line ends and another person's property line begins. It's the realization of being our own person apart from others. It's learning how to love others, but not getting our will entangled with somebody else's will. Healthy boundaries is the ability to have your own voice, to make your own choices, and to freely express yourself, and to allow people around you to have the exact same thing, their own voice and choices and expressions. A person with boundaries has the ability to say no and can confront others in appropriate and caring ways. A person with healthy boundaries doesn't handle things from a passive way. This person has the ability to take care of his own needs and be strong in his approach to life. God created you and I in His image with the ability to freely make choices and to have boundaries. And if you're struggling with boundaries in your life, there's no doubt in my mind that the Lord can restore this area of your character and repair the damaged boundaries in your life. 2 Corinthians 10:5 says, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. It's important that we learn to take responsibility of our own thoughts, to not repress our thoughts, but to own them and examine them. This is more than just a right that God has given us. It's actually a responsibility. And when we begin to take responsibility for our own thoughts, it translates into taking ownership of our feelings, our attitude, our desires, and even our behavior. One of the major things that we need to learn regarding boundaries is that they must be established within the context of love. Just because we say no or set boundaries with relationships in our lives doesn't mean that we don't love those that we're setting the boundaries with. In fact, the act of setting boundaries ensures that we're able to continue to have those healthy relational connections. In his book, Changes That Heal, Dr. Cloud wrote, love cannot exist without freedom, and freedom can't exist without responsibility. It's so important that we take responsibility for the things that are ours and deal with it accordingly. Boundaries are critical for freedom, and freedom is critical for a healthy relational connection. Another important aspect of boundaries is allowing other people to take responsibility for how they personally feel. We want to be sensitive to others and the way that they feel. We want to be aware of their feelings, but ultimately, it's their responsibility to own their own emotions. In other words, if someone is mad or sad and tries to use those emotions to control your actions, they've crossed over the line of your boundaries. We all have the right to be angry or experience other emotions, but we can't try to control someone else with those emotions. We've got to allow others to be who they are, and we have to learn to love and accept others the way that they are. So let me wrap up this session by saying this. If you're struggling in this area of your life, you're not alone. Boundaries is something that is super hard to learn and establish. And I want you to know that the result of not having boundaries can create all sorts of things in your life, from resentment to passive-aggressive behavior to even worse things like panic attacks or depression or addictions or all sorts of things. It's not always easy to learn to set boundaries. And if you can't seem to make headway, please consider getting outside help from a friend or a counselor or a coach. I promise it'll be worth putting the time and effort into strengthening the healthy boundaries in your life. It's our ability to take responsibility for ourselves that determines the quality and the significance of our lives.